Hello everyone, it's episode 65, and I didn't even write it down, of the General Damage Podcast.
What's up, guys?
How's it going?
Melting, all the melting. Fucking, I hate the summer.
So that's Melty Nick, I'm Melty Will, and unfortunately, Shane is the finest one out of all of us, because he lives on the East Coast now.
And I'm refreshed.
You're a
I like to think that you're living on the East Coast with humidity, so you're swamp-ass Shane.
That's actually semi-true.
Okay.
Because here's the thing, I don't go outside when the humidity's out.
Sure.
By the time I have to go
smart.
to work, the humidity's gone.
Right. Okay, that's good.
But I'll tell you right now, you go out there, and it does feel like a fucking swamp.
Yeah.
I guess the question is, would you rather deal with the heat we're dealing with, Nick, or the humidity?
The heat.
Yeah, I think between the two...
But really, it's like, do I want this bowl of diarrhea or this bowl of diarrhea?
I mean, that is true. I think when it comes down to it, it is... Both are terrible, and you have to suffer through either of them. It's not fun.
If I had my own house, and it would have AC, that'd be like a dogmatic law.
Yeah.
I would have... Basically, when the summer hit, for me, I would call that igloo season.
Oh, yeah.
And I crank that motherfucker up.
Dude, it is fucking paramount to have the AC go on.
Yeah.
We're definitely... I mean, we're hitting the hundreds in some areas. It's not every place, but still. Just the fact that it, exists as a thought, or as a problem, or as a thing... fucking sucks dong. It is miserable.
Yeah.
I mean...
Yay climate change.
It's summer. Summer is, like, a pain in the ass.
Yes.
It's a
always
cool
is a pain
season.
in the ass.
Like, all these cool things happen, but summer itself brings heat. Heat sucks. Now, granted, you want to know what's interesting, though?
What?
Because by the time I go into work, it's still warm. You know, there's still a bit of heat. But then, a bunch of coolers emit heat, right?
Right.
So where I work is a fucking sauna. But it's really nice. What's really cool, though, is when I have to go get ice cream out of the walk-in freezer, that is the nicest thing.
Oh, dude, I can only imagine.
However, it's only nice for the first 2 minutes. Because it's a freezer it adjusts its temperature to the heat inside.
Sure.
So a human body means the thing starts really cranking.
Sure.
Oh, okay.
And so it's like, if I'm in here too long, I actually might become a shadesicle.
I was actually contemplating one day after work, because I'm on a construction site, and construction sites are not pleasant.
No, they're not.
Especially, and I watch some of those guys who are in like these long sleeve t-shirts, and they got the hard hat with like this fabric on the back of it to protect their neck, and I'm just thinking, like, you must be swimming, like you're swimming. But for me, all my job is sitting. I sit and I monitor these air pumps.
Sure.
And I was contemplating going to like Safeway or something that was around the corner of the school and just sitting by the freezers. I was that, and I wasn't, like, the heat was getting to me. Like, I wasn't feeling good I'm still not feeling good.
Dude, that
like,
is
like
the
my
worst.
stomach's bothering me and everything, and it's just it's not fantastic.
Yeah,
it's probably because of the crap food I've been eating, but I mean, it's a bunch of factors.
Yeah,
but I've always hated the summer, always.
See,
I don't feel like there's any benefit to it. Even when I was a kid, I fucking hated the summer. No.
As a kid, I mean, I swam competitively, so, like, I was in a pool more often than I am now. So, like, that was probably, like, my saving grace for the summer. But, like, nowadays, I don't really have access to a pool. So, it sucks. The weather just is fucking miserable. And, like, it doesn't help that in my room, if I'm on my computer for, maybe an hour, like, my computer has already heated my room well past where it should have been.
Yeah.
And so, then I'm
that's a problem with electronics.
Yeah, it really is.
See, I mean, summer, as it is out here, it just means tourists, which sucks. But that's what you get when you go to a tourist trap. But on the flip side, the only saving grace that summer had with me is like, well, no school, movies, and video games.
Okay.
And like, for instance, E3. The only reason I really liked summer because I was like, oh god, E3's coming.
Yeah, well, I was like, oh god, E3's coming. Oh yeah, all these games are coming out in one of my favorite seasons.
Yeah.
It's kind of a win-win.
Yeah.
Dude, I am excited that we are, as we talked about it last week, how just kind of epic this year's E3 was. I think definitely one of the most exciting things to hear from it was how many games are coming out at both the end of this year and the beginning of next year. Just the stockpile of things. It's fucking sweet.
Okay, what's coming out this year?
So this year, if I remember correctly, I think...
I have a few dates.
Yeah.
Actually.
So we're getting... Go ahead.
Assassin's Creed Origins.
Yeah.
That's coming out October 27th.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, so is Wolfenstein. They're both coming out the 27th.
Yep. We're getting Destiny 2.
That comes out September, yeah.
Evil Within 2 is coming out in October this year.
Yeah. Crackdown 3, November 7th.
Right.
And also we have to look in COD with that. That's coming out. That they own November, so they're coming out then.
I think the DLC for Horizon Zero Dawn is coming out this year as well.
Right.
That's spectacular.
And yeah, it really is. So it's pretty meaty what we're getting. So it's great.
Shadow of War is coming out not this August, but now October.
Okay. Sweet.
Which sucks a little bit.
Sure.
But at the same time, because I wanted to play it in August, because I'm not going to PAX now.
Yeah.
But whatever, I mean, that means I really have to power through Doom, and then go back to Shadow of Mordor and beat that, and finish it.
Mm-hmm.
And then in between all that time, complete like Mad Max, and then there's Titanfall as well, and there's a few other games I'm thinking about.
Sure.
I actually finally got a hard drive thanks to my sister, so I don't have to spend any money, and that's going up to my Xbox.
Nice.
3 terabytes, so yeah, I'm gonna be cooking with gas.
Oh yeah, definitely. Very cool.
So, actually, I want to start off some stuff.
Okay.
Because E3 was huge for all of us, right? And we're gamers, so...
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like, ultimately, we're the real winners of E3. Because we get the most out of it. But so, something interesting happened. So, Monster Hunter World was announced, right?
Right.
And so, anyone who's listened to this previously knows that Will and I have, like, the biggest boners for that game.
Yeah, too many hours sunk into that game, all of it worth it.
Right? So, but here's what's happened. Previously, we talked about Dauntless, which at the time, Will and I both had huge boners for because it was like, a Monster Hunter-like game for the PC, free to play. It seemed like they were completely pushing different boundaries that, like an open world and all that. The things that, like, Capcom doesn't do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you might think to yourself, with the announcement of Monster Hunter World, that Phoenix Labs, the people who are making Dauntless, might be panicked.
Yeah, there's definitely that feeling.
Surprisingly, though, they're not.
Good.
And I think this is actually really smart of them, because they had the realistic idea of, well, it was bound to happen eventually.
Right.
Now, granted, it happening, so this game being announced so close to them going into beta, which should be at the end of this year, I think, not ideal. But what the guys from Phoenix Labs said, and I like this approach, is they were never trying to compete with Capcom. They were never trying to compete with Monster Hunter.
Right.
Because this game isn't... It's like Monster Hunter, but it's a far more casual group.
Yeah.
And so... And it's free to play, right? It's meant to be accessible to people. That's the main goal, with microtransactions being what funds them.
Mm-hmm.
Which means their real competition isn't in Monster Hunter. It's for things like Warframe or League of Legends, other free-to-play games.
Yeah, that model.
Exactly. And so I like that, though, because instead of trying to put themselves in this, basically up against a titan, pretty much, of like a game development company, they took the smart road, which is, no, we're gonna not market ourselves against that. We're gonna market ourselves against other indie developers who already have our market to begin with, because they knew the fact that anyone who was playing Dauntless would immediately leave it if a good Monster Hunter game came up for the console or the PC, right? Right. Like that was the realistic idea, which is like the true diehard Monster Hunter fans will probably jump ship.
Yes.
But on the flip side, there are going to be plenty of people who don't want to pay for Monster Hunter, and there's probably plenty of people who actually do not like Monster Hunter, or they want to play a Monster Hunter-like game, but they don't want to play one by Capcom for whatever reason. And I love this approach, and I love their honesty as a company, because this is what you should be doing as an indie developer if you're making a game that's similar to like a AAA title. Yeah. And you're in the free-to-play racket, which is, you're not trying to compete with a AAA title, but you're trying to create a similar gaming experience for people who don't want to pay the money.
Yeah, like, you want to emulate that feel without going up against it. Other games have done that. What is it? Combat Arms has done that. There are a number of other ones, and it is a good business model for those companies. They do succeed. There is a market that wants something like that. So I'm happy to hear that they're not distraught about Capcom releasing this game. That's very good, because we do need these kind of easier go. I wouldn't say easier. We do need these games in our market, in the market space, to kind of broaden that. I mean, there are times where we won't get another Monster Hunter game, but if there's another company making a Monster Hunter-like game that's accessible every time without a problem, fuck yeah, that'll give people that kind of fix they need in the down times.
Well, like, here's how I look at it. You and I have PS4s.
Yes.
We're probably going to play Monster Hunter on the PS4 together.
Yes.
But for the sake of purpose, right? Say Nick can't afford a PS4. He already has an Xbox One. Yeah. Say he gets this brand new PC. We could just play Dauntless with Nick.
Yeah.
Like I had that thought because Mari, a friend of mine who really likes Monster Hunter, she was like, "What are you gonna get for the PC?" Right? I was like, "No, I'm going back to PS4. The home of Monster Hunter. That's how I want to play it." And she goes, "But I want to play it with you." But in the back of my head, I was like, "We'll play Dauntless."
Sure.
Right.
Because it's free to play, so there's already no commitment, right? And on top of it, it might be a completely different experience too.
Right.
Dauntless doesn't look like a Monster Hunter clone. It definitely has its it has its own identity.
It has features that are definitely Monster Hunter-like, but everything we've seen doesn't scream, a one-for-one Monster Hunter.
Yeah, and that's perfect. Ultimately, the one thing I really like about Dauntless, the one thing I will say that Dauntless definitely has over Monster Hunter, is its look.
It's unique.
Yeah, it is. It's a very unique look for this type of game, right? Yeah. It's very bright and vibrant, and while Monster Hunter is a little bit darker and more staged in like heavy tones, it's a much brighter, happier looking game, and I think that's so cool. So you want to know when Dauntless finally gets into beta, I'm definitely hopping on. I'll tell people about it
for sure,
and I hope it succeeds, especially in a market that has Monster Hunter World, because I want Capcom to also be driven by the fact that there is a free-to-play version of their genre of game, and that they should be addressing why people are playing it over that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It could, in the end, it could only be good.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, yeah, I would like to play Monster Hunter. I just never had a product to play it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've contemplated getting a Game Boy for it, and just to get a Game Boy because I've been wanting to play some Nintendo games.
Yeah.
So, I probably could do that somewhere down the line, but the phone is a priority now. But yeah, I mean, I would like to play it if I could. I mean, I might get it from Xbox One, but at the same time, I'll hear crickets, because I don't think anyone else I know that's on Xbox will have it.
Sure.
So, it's kind of like up in the air. Speaking of like indie developers and everything like that, so I forget the name of that company, but they do Hitman.
Is it IDOS? No, it's not IDOS.
No.
You're talking about the new episodic Hitman, right?
I believe, yes.
IO Interactive.
Yes, there we go. They, from what I've heard in the news, they have basically cut ties with publishers, and they're now calling themselves an indie developer. Okay. And they fully own the rights to Hitman, the Hitman IPO.
Oh, interesting.
And as a courtesy, they released episode 1 or something like that for free for people that want it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Sick.
Yeah, and then apparently on, I think it was Twitter, and I might get this wrong again, so I didn't write it down like I should have. But I believe it's Randy Pitchford, who's Gearbox.
I think so.
Well, he tweeted at them saying, "Hey, if you guys looking for some friendly publishing that won't fuck with you," and I'm paraphrasing again.
Yeah, he's CEO of Gearbox.
Yeah, he said, "Look to Gearbox."
Cool.
But there hasn't been anything else said in any other way. So I thought that was kind of cool that they're like this. Technically a big developer is now basically saying, "Hey, we're indie now. Here's the first episode for free."
That's definitely different.
It really is.
Yeah. I also like the fact how Gearbox handled it. Like, just be like, "Hey, we're here if you want it."
Yeah. So, I don't know what that says about big publishers versus everything else, but it's cool that this company has its own IPO. Which, on some level, I'm thinking like, man, if Respawn can do that, then they won't have to suffer the bullshit that EA put them through.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of reason why companies try and basically step away from their publishers. I think the limitations and the restrictions that a number of the companies do put on the companies under them can sometimes be just taxing and brutal.
Well, it fucks over the consumer, because if you wanted the full experience for Star Wars Battlefront, you needed to pay an extra $50.
Right.
And EA and DICE, and probably I think DICE pushed this more than EA, have learned from that, which is why in Battlefront 2, there's apparently saying that the DLC is going to be all free.
Right, I saw that. I was like, fuck yes. There is kind of a little more of a trend. It's still fairly minute, but there are a number of companies that are starting to do like free DLCs with their games.
Yeah, which is cool.
It is. I think that they I would like to think that a number of the companies understand that, albeit yes, they are making a killing more off of DLC sales than the base product. That kind of fucks over the consumer.
It does, but at the same time, here's the thing: we all bitch and moan at the fact that you have to pay $50 extra for all the season pass or whatever,
right?
For Battlefront, Battlefront 1 or Battlefront 1 Redux, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
You can just call it Battlefront 1. People will know what they're talking about at this point.
True. But here, the math and everything, and the labor that goes into making a game, the reason why Seasons Passes exist and DLC exists, it's really $50 for a Season Pass isn't gouging the consumer, though it does feel like that, because it feels like we got half a game. Really what it is trying to make the game break even.
Right. It's covering, because the game at launch isn't even covering the cost of production.
Right. Well, I mean, we're lucky that games only cost $60. They could cost so much more.
Right. It really could.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's a reason Rockstar is looking at Grand Theft Auto 5 going, let's keep making shit for this game. They keep playing it. They keep spending money. I mean, because it basically became what WoW is to Blizzard.
Right.
It printed money. It's printing money.
I mean, they just released a new thing for that. It's the Gunrunners DLC, and fucking people love the shit out of it. Like, that's probably one of the most streamed games, and for like how old it is, it's impressive.
It's going to be 4 years old soon.
Yep.
And a lot of people stream it. A lot of people still play it. I mean, I go on the Grand Theft Auto subreddit, and there's just a ton of shit. Of GIFs and videos and tips, and people just showing their tricked out cars and outfits and houses and all this other shit. It's basically like Second Life if you can murder people.
That is an interesting way to put it.
We could rephrase this better, Nick. It's like Second Life if Second Life was good.
Shots fired.
App description.
Yeah. Shots fired, Shane. Nah, calling out facts. Different.
No, I know. Yeah. Let's be real. Anyone who has played Second Life or know of it, it's a joke.
Man,
a very bad joke at that.
Yeah. But so, people are still playing Grand Theft Auto, and like most of the DLC that they put out for Grand Theft Auto has been for free, and then I think they recently put out before the Gun Runners. I don't know if this is right or not, but they basically added 2 more cities. They essentially added the San Andreas pack, which added San Fierro, and I want to say either Las Venturas or something else. And now that is down. That basically makes you had to pay $50 for that.
I mean,
but you were getting like 2 big full-size cities like Los Santos,
right? Most of the people that are constantly playing that game aren't going to care about that expenditure if they're getting more game and more things to do. Like they're pretty happy about it anyways.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, it's really. I think it's a good thing on that part. It's just you need to find that game. Companies just need to find that game that can literally just print money, and sometimes that happens, and sometimes it doesn't, and we also get flops. But at the same time, if we go back to like the whole independent stuff with the Hitman company and everything else, with Respawn completely owns Titanfall. EA just publishes it.
Right.
So right now, what I'm thinking in my head is, Respawn probably wants to keep making Titanfall, and they keep making DLC. I see that.
Yeah.
So if I were Respawn, if I were the CEOs or people who are in Respawn, I probably would be yelling at EA and saying like, we want to make Titanfall 3. Yes, there is money there. You can, we can figure this out.
Sure.
And Respawn basically says, we're picking the date. I mean, they have. I would demand that if I were Respawn. Like, I would basically say, Call of Duty owns the winter. We should own the spring.
I mean, it is good for the consumer if that does happen, because then it means that in the spring and the fall, the gamers who love shooters are getting games no matter what. They're getting their plates filled, and they're satiated for a while.
Yeah, and they play very differently.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, there's that aspect to it as well. But it's just like the first game came out in the spring. It came out like I want to say 6 months or maybe a little longer after the Xbox One launched.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a hit, and people loved it. That's why we got Titanfall 2. But then EA, it's that stupid thing. These big giants want to go to head to head with other big giants, and it's like, that dude's been living there for years. Why are you going over there and knocking on that door? Like, just don't do that.
But, yeah, I don't understand that aspect of the industry, and I don't think I ever will, realistically.
No, I don't understand, because it's like, oh, they're holiday seasons, we have to get them all to a holiday, people will shop, and we have to get it out at this time because Christmas and all this other bullshit. Like, no, you don't. Like, you don't have to get it out at that time. By that logic, you think every blockbuster has to come out in summer. That has gone away a long time ago. Like, summer blockbusters, actually, in some sense, haven't been doing that well as they usually have.
Mm-hmm.
And the most reviewed movie, I want to say, last year that was positively reviewed and made a ton of money was Civil War.
Sure.
And every other action movie after that was like, yeah, it's okay, it's good, you know. And they
it's
probably,
a movie.
yeah, they probably broke even, but like summer blockbusters don't exist as much as they used to. Like we don't have an Independence Day, if you will.
Right. I think it's starting to feel like fall and spring have kind of the best movie releases, or winter nowadays.
Yeah, winter does.
Releases.
Well, to be fair though, they've been releasing Star Wars near the end of the year.
Sure.
And that
helps.
kind of skews it because it's like, well, it's fucking Star Wars. Like any holiday movie tried to fighting that thing.
Yeah, well,
it's a failure.
At the same time, like Star Wars owns the winner, and then you have where am I gonna go with this? Nick, you're stupid. Star Wars owns the winter, but in the sense that Disney owns the winter.
Yeah.
But they also own the spring/summertime because most of their big Marvel movies come out around May, or like the first week of May.
Yeah.
Like next year in May, like May 5th, if my math is right, we're getting the first Infinity War movie. So that's gonna be fucking insane.
It's gonna be awesome.
True. So we're getting that, and then like I think what? Oh yeah. So speaking of Star Wars, here's what's happening. This winter, this December, we are getting The Last Jedi.
Right.
Yeah.
And then 6 months later, we're getting the Han Solo movie.
Oh shit! I forgot about that.
And I think that's coming out next Memorial Day, like next May, and Memorial Weekend.
All right.
So it won't be competing with
its other properties, basically.
It won't be competing with Infinity War, and then Episode 9 will come out, I think, in 2019 in May as well.
Okay.
And I think if they timed it right, what they want to do is they want to release Episode 9 on May 24th, which is when A New Hope came out in 1977.
Damn, that'd be awesome.
That'd be cool.
It would be very cool. And how I know this is I do this weird funky math, and I keep looking at calculators, and yeah, that's what they're gonna do. I'm smart.
I mean, to be fair, that like there's plenty of people who do that. So
no, there is too. But at the same time, like, you know, I would do that too. If I were a studio exec, I would look, hey, when did Star Wars come out? Like New Hope, when did that come out? Oh, the 1977, May 24th. May 24th is going to be a Friday in 2019. Guess when Episode 9's coming out? I mean, you know, it's just that makes sense. So
fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of movie stuff, because I've actually tried to, I'm hoping that maybe this is what Marvel's doing. Do we know when the new Spider-Man game comes out?
No, I didn't get a release date on that. I'm kind of curious now. Oh, my Kindle sucks.
Because here's how I'm looking at it, right? Because this is just me thinking. Well, this month, next month, July, right? That's Homecoming.
Sure.
Correct.
And then, of course, everyone's seen this new Spider-Man game, and we actually got our first really good look at E3, right? So I'm really hoping for the Spider-Man hype boost, like happened back when they were making the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans.
Right.
Because, you know, anyone who's played Spider-Man 2 for the PS2, that game was fucking awesome.
That was probably the best Spider-Man game.
Yeah. I mean, Ultimate Spider-Man was pretty fun.
Ultimate was pretty good.
I will agree. That one I played more.
I mean, that also had
like
Venom.
the look of it. So.
But, like...
Epic Venom at that.
Oh, my God. But I like, you guys saw the gameplay for Spider-Man.
It looks cool.
I liked it a lot. It felt like they... Because everyone's like, oh, it's all QuickTime events. I'm like, no, I think it's more like a better UI that shows you all the things you can do. And then you can kind of pick and choose.
I mean, it's definitely... It definitely is QET, because I think for those sequences, I think I think it just needs to be. Unfortunately, there's too much going on to just hand over to the players. Because I think no matter what, you wouldn't be able to win. Like if you made it that it was in the hands of the players, they would bitch that it's too complex. And then if you make it QETs, they're gonna bitch because it's QETs.
Well, I feel like there was a good balance.
There's definitely like there is a mix of like at the right moments QET takes over and just makes it streamlined so that the flow of the game isn't broken up, which I think is good.
Yeah, well, there's also like that's not the Spider-Man I wanted.
No, its initial release date is 2018, so there's no there's no major release. There's no official release date to it.
Interesting.
But it's going to be next year at some point.
Yeah, that's fine. Partly I think the whole for me all the QET stuff. I really like the look of the game up to the point where we got all the QuickTime stuff.
Sure.
Because it had like a feeling of like, okay, this is like an Arkham game. I'm really going to be Spider-Man. I can crawl on walls. I can use the web stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I can do all this physics stuff. I'm superhuman strength, all that shit. That felt good, but then we got into this it wanting to be cinematic. And I think they go with that because the films exist.
Right.
And this is how Spider-Man has been seen for a good long time.
Yeah.
So we should somewhat copy that. At the same time, I like to think that all we saw was for E3, and maybe that whole helicopter thing will not be the same.
Yeah.
In game.
You know, it definitely. I mean, it looks like an alpha. So
yeah.
You know. Maybe they'll gauge fan reaction to it and adjust appropriately, or maybe not.
Yeah.
But I mean, we won't know until like we get an official release.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Mm-hmm. If you want to make a good Spider-Man game, just give me some free roam. Let me swing around New York City and dick around for like 3 hours.
Yeah,
never touching the main story because that's the best part of those games.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that. But like for me. It's still, even with the QuickTime events, it still felt like there's too much going on.
Mm.
You know, like there's a QuickTime event trying to hit the guy out of the chopper, there's a QuickTime event trying to avoid the propellers, then there's that weird thing of like, oh, you have to like catch the tail before it hits the people on the ground, and then you have to like do this jump slow-mo bullet time thing and shoot all this webbing at the buildings to make sure that the rest of the body of the thing slows down enough so it doesn't like hit the street. I'm used to QuickTime events of like, okay, press this button, this button, this button, this button, this button, boom, over. This is like this happens and this happens, this happens, this happens. It felt like it was also all over the place. So
I will say this: the QuickTime events did not seem to be uniform.
No, they were no,
and that's a dangerous game to play. Like,
yeah, it changed so much, like angles and camera position. It goes to first person. That is jarring, especially in a chaotic scene like that.
No, the first person was really weird.
Yeah. So I like the look of the game, like when it was a game. That's what I kind of want. So, but like, I don't know when or if we'll see. We'll see in 2018 what we get, if we get anything.
This was like the first real gameplay trailer, anyways.
Yeah.
For all we know, they could pull BioShock Infinite, and none of that's in the game.
True.
Well, yeah, I mean, very true. Hell, if we want to go back a couple of years, or almost a couple decades, a decade and a half, we were supposed to have a huge, big scene with the World Trade Center in the first Spider-Man movie.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It didn't happen, unfortunately. I mean, hell, the teaser for Spider-Man had the World Trade Center in it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, things change. In that case, a horrible tragedy occurred, so an icon couldn't be in a movie.
Yeah.
That is just, it is what it is. Like, with this game, who knows? Like, who knows what we're gonna get?
Right.
And I just realized how close we are to Spider-Man Homecoming.
Right. It's coming up soon.
Yeah, it's coming up. I have been listening to 2 songs from 2 different Marvel trailers constantly.
Which 2?
So I've been so there's the beat that goes through. I want to say it's the 3rd Spider-Man trailer.
Okay.
It's don't ask me to sing it. I can't sing. But the name of the song, it's by Hoodie Allen, and the name of the song is "Act My Age."
Okay.
He's a white rapper, and it's a fairly good song. But at the same time, I'm thinking like I looked up the guy. I'm like, you're 28 and you're talking like you just graduated high school. I mean, the song lyrically is not fantastic.
Sure.
Its message is not fantastic.
Uh-huh.
Like, you're only 3 years younger than me, dude. Like, seriously? So it's beat wise, it's a good song. Lyrically, it's kind of alright.
Yeah.
He's a white guy saying not insecure, but insecure.
Insecure. My favorite.
Insecure. Yeah. He just does that stupid speech. He's trying to be Southern boy.
Mm.
But the other song I'm gonna listen to is a song that's from Black Panther trailer.
Oh yeah.
It's I call it Step into the Spotlight. It's not called that, but it's by Run with Jules.
Oh, Run the Jules.
Run the Jules, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's Killer Mike, and I forgot the other guy's name. And it's a great song.
Yes.
Like I've listened to a few Killer Mike songs, and I don't know. I never really cared for him. I like Killer Mike. He's a great spokesman. I love him. I love like hearing him with debates and stuff like that because he's articulate as fuck. But Into the Spotlight, it's just a fast like punch song, and I love it. And like him and his buddy they just rip it apart. And there's some really weird, bizarre effects throughout, and it's great. I give the video a watch if you can.
Okay.
And I think, Will, you'd like it. You like Aesop Rock? It's kind of in the same...
Yeah, I've heard it. I've heard that it's akin to it. What's the name of the song again?
I call it Enter the Spotlight.
Okay.
But it might be called something else.
Okay.
I feel bad not knowing its name.
No worries.
But Killer Mike is a great guy.
Alright.
If you want to watch a great interview with Killer Mike, where he's not the interviewee, he's the interviewer, look up him talking to Bernie Sanders. It's just a great talk. So,
okay.
For sure.
Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know about that Spider-Man game. But the movie looks promising. I'm just trying not to get my hopes up with it because Spider-Man has disappointed me before.
Sure, it definitely has the potential to do it again, but I mean, from what I've seen, it looks like there's a lot of promise to it. But I'm like you, Nick. I'm gonna hold my breath until we get it and watch it and then see how I feel.
Here's the thing. I mean, I know we want to talk about E3 more. There's a lot of shit, but since we're on the movie bandwagon,
yeah,
Black Panther trailer is doing something that I'm really liking. I'm hoping that's what I got from it. I don't know about you guys. There's no origin story. Like we technically got the origin story in Civil War,
right? Yeah. It's a continuation off that point.
Yeah. After watching the beginning of Batman v Superman, and thinking about Doctor Strange, I am just so done with superhero origin stories. I don't want to hear them again. I don't care if I don't know how this person got these powers. Just let them be the superhero. And let Doctor Strange. You guys love Doctor Strange. For me, I was like, it's good, but I want to see more.
Yeah.
Because I know, give me that acid trip because I know this can get so fucked up. And that's what I want. So, that's what I'm looking at anyway.
I looked at Doctor Strange, honestly, as really just a setup piece for, bridging, because the whole point of Doctor Strange is okay, it introduced another Infinity Stone that was really important because it's time.
Right.
And so, okay, and like I like the way they did his origin story, at least, because it wasn't a flashback.
Right, but neither was Iron Man, Tony Stark. I mean,
no,
that wasn't a flashback.
No, but sometimes they do it like through a flashback sequence or like.
Yeah, that's bullshit. That's what I don't want in Spider-Man: Homecoming. I've said it for the 100th time. I'll say it again.
Yeah. But do you want to know what I did notice on the casting for Black Panther?
What?
His dad, the actor who played the King,
right?
He is in it. So there's probably going to be some sort of setup. I'm hoping it's not so much a backstory moment as it is more kind of like a. I want to say kind of like actually like a Lion King moment.
Mm-hmm.
Where like,
I get what you're saying.
Like it's like the flashback isn't him and his dad. It's like him and his dad before the World Conference that got attacked.
Right.
And they're just talking. And his dad's just talking about one day you'll be a king, and you'll do all this.
Yeah.
And like I want it to be that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like that could be a great like push to the core of his character. I don't need to see anything further than that.
Yeah, we don't. So Black Panther I'm really excited for. And I am excited for Spider-Man. I'm just nervous because two Spider-Man, I'm trying to think. About 3 Spider-Man films have disappointed me total. And I might throw another one in there as well. But yeah. Sony kind of fucked up a few times. Mm-hmm. Too many.
I mean, the way I look at this, it's they got all the right pieces this time.
Right.
So if they fuck this one up, they have to try. You have to try spectacularly hard.
We'll see. I mean, that's all we can do is we'll see. We're probably not going to be able to see it for a minute, because I'm trying to think of scheduling. But yeah, I'll definitely go see it though.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But I want to get your opinion on a game. Well,
sure.
Actually, 2 games.
Okay.
But since we're on this, what are your thoughts on Assassin's Creed?
So I actually got to since one of the cool things that's happened with Achievement Hunter is they've kind of had this partnership with Ubisoft, so that they'll get early access into trying these games out, and they'll post a video up on their channel and Ubisoft's channel with them playing it. So I got a chance to watch Jack and Jeremy play Origins, and they were saying that the combat of it plays very different than the previous Assassin's Creeds, where most of them are like hit a button, do a thing, kill an enemy, do a thing, like evade, hit button to execute, evade, hit button to execute. Very like kind of cookie cutter combat with no kind of feel, but has a flow to it. Where this time around, having the right weapon for the right fight is necessary. It has.
I like that.
Yeah, like your character. There's an assortment of weapons. You have spears. You have a Kopesh that you can always go to. You have mauls, hammers. Heavier weapons are gonna feel heavier to swing. Weapons with reach aren't going to be as good in close quarter combat situations. There are different bows for different purposes. So like I like that they're deciding to go with some more standard RPG elements to this game while still making it feel like an Assassin's Creed game, because they had tried to do some RPG elements in Unity, and that was a fucking nightmare. That's that above a myriad of other things. That was a big buzzkill for me when my character who I was playing isn't being trained by any assassins and is having to learn to be an assassin on his own, and he fucking acts like a dumbass because he can't, for whatever reason, decide to stick out his other arm and punch a guy in the head when he's coming down, and has to learn how to double assassinate because that concept is fucking idiotic to him.
Yeah.
So I love the look so far of Origins. I like Egyptian mythology. That's one, and I love the kind of Egyptian design. So, I think it's very cool that we're getting it. The character seems interesting. I still haven't seen enough about him.
Yeah,
but like the bit of gameplay that I did, I liked the character. He seems cool.
Yeah.
He seems collected, not arrogant, stoic. I think even more stoic than some of the other assassin members that we've gotten to play as. But I'm hoping that doesn't make him feel too sterile.
Yeah, that's true.
I want to see him have an emotion range.
Yeah.
Because like you can have this stoic personification, but there may be something that like a button that gets pushed and you flip.
Can I just interject?
Sure.
You need the happy medium between Altair, whose voice has no emotion,
and Ezio.
And Ezio, whose only emotion.
Sure.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Because that's literally what happened. It was like, oh, we have this one character. He's really brooding all the time. And even when he's talking calmly, he still sounds brooding. And then you have Ezio, who doesn't take anything fucking seriously.
In the first game. Later iterations of Ezio, we get this more kind of laid-back, toned down. And it did make sense for first Ezio, because he was a
greenhorn.
Yeah, exactly.
Also,
but I would agree with you, Shane. Like, you want that happy medium between those two.
Can I just say one other thing about Assassin's Creed 1? My only thing I've never liked about it.
Sure.
What?
I could sit there at a corner and parry every attack, and insta-kill everyone.
They've gotten rid of that.
I hated the parrying because it was so good. Like, there was no point in actually trying to fight.
Right, and I think that's one thing that they recognized was a major flaw in their game is as soon as you decided you wanted to fight at all, it was parry, kill them, parry, kill them, parry,
But on the
kill
flip
them.
side, you know what the sad part is? The way they tell their story, because that's the problem with Altair, was he was already a master.
Sure.
So you expected him to insta-kill everything he touched.
Yeah.
And I will say, because I gave up on Assassin's Creed after I played 2.
Okay.
I just, I was like, these games are cool, but I don't think they're for me.
Sure.
And then after seeing the travesty of 3, I was like, ha. But the interesting thing that stands out in Origins now is that it feels like they're pulling away from all the other traps of the previous Assassin's Creed games, like in enemy types and the world. Like, for instance, ancient Egypt, while it is very, architecturally, like, that they're one of the first societies of true engineers, it's not a game that, like, is littered with vantage points and all this stuff. Like, you really have to play hide and seek. And this, like, from what I saw, it looks so open. There wasn't a lot of tall buildings. It wasn't a lot of,
Yeah, we haven't seen every city. That was just one city.
True, but even that one city gave me hope that they're varying it, because that was the problem with, like, the Assassin's Creed 2, which is, well, these are all big Italian cities, right? And the problem is structurally, it's like, oh, well, you just find the best vantage point and you rooftop to rooftop.
Yeah. There a lot of the watching Jack and Jeremy play, there was a lot more hiding in shrubs, or even like kind of moving around on a roof, because there were a lot more enemies that were willing to go on roofs. I know.
That's cool.
Yeah, they were willing to climb up to kind of different elevations. So it basically means like there is no safe zone. Like, if you find a safe zone, it's because it's a bush you've hidden in, and you're going to attract an enemy to pull them into it. So I still have enjoyed the Assassin's Creed series. I think 3 is probably one of the biggest travesties, then followed by Unity. But like after Assassin's Creed 3, we had Black Flag, which was fucking awesome. And I hear Syndicate's good. I have it installed, but I've never like sat down and played it. And Rogue also apparently was very good, and that was released on the 360. It apparently, I think, did better than Unity.
From what I heard, it did better than. Yeah, Unity was just such a clusterfuck because they're trying to work with new tech. And
right. It backfired a lot. So, I mean, and they also, I think Ubisoft recognized, was a couple of years ago or a year ago, that they're cutting back on releasing so many Assassin's Creed games.
Yeah.
And when they release one, it's going to be fleshed out better. So
yeah, that was the problem with this game. And for someone who wanted to catch up, it felt like I couldn't catch up.
Right.
Like, I only played Assassin's Creed 2 because I played 1 and I didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like it because the controls I felt really wonky. And then my friend showed me, oh yeah, there's like a flag type in every city you have to go to. And it's like 500 flags or some shit. Like, the collectibles in that game were just stupid.
Right.
So I didn't care for that. I just didn't care for it. And then in the 2 was fun. And I have, for my 360, I had the Ezio trilogy.
Yeah.
I only played 2. And it's like, okay, I should probably fire it up and play the others, but it's like, I don't know. I mean, I had fun, but I don't know. I could just get this remastered on 360, buy it again, which would be stupid.
Yeah.
Or the remaster on Xbox One, or I just might buy Syndicate and play that, or Black Flag, because everyone loves that, because Black Flag is going to be modeling the controls and everything for Skull and Bones.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I could play any Assassin's Creed, but it seriously felt like there's just too many coming out. Yeah. And there's oversaturation, and that's the thing. That's it. Like, everyone blames Call of Duty and Infinity War and all Activision for, like, they just pump out this game. It's the same game over and over again. Well, one, they were successful at it. They made a lot of money doing that, and they had developers working in, frog leaping each other to push these types of games out. That's why it works. And every other studio tried to copy that and have annual releases.
Mm-hmm.
How can I miss you if you don't go away?
Exactly.
I will
go
say,
the fuck away.
At least what Ubisoft did right with Black Flag, from what I've seen, it was you were more of a pirate than an assassin. And then,
yeah, that's the vibe I got from it. I mean, Blackbeard was afraid of you. So.
In Syndicate, it's basically Grand Theft Auto in London.
Yeah.
I mean, you run a gang, a gang of London, and you're big dick swinging on the street, man.
And I think that's a great approach for these sequels.
Sure.
It's like, well, we can view these assassins, but they should be different from every other.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping, at least with Origin, it's like, well, this guy's an assassin, but he's like the first assassin, so the way he does shit is very different from the other ones.
Right. And like, that is, I mean, it was fine when we were following the storyline of Desmond. Let's stop following Desmond. Let's step away from the cookie cutter approach.
That was the other thing that bugged me about Assassin's Creed, was the stupid sci-fi element and the whole shit with Desmond and the, what's the device called?
Animus.
The Animus?
The Animus. Yeah. Like, why? Why fucking bother?
I mean, I was fine with it because it set a tone for everything.
And it just, to me, that was just stupid, because you could have just had this cool medieval Assassin's game, and you could just tell stories in different time periods, and maybe you could have said, oh yeah, these guys are kind of semi-related.
I guess. I actually think the game has benefited from it, because you set this worldwide conspiracy.
Yeah,
that there was this crazy group is doing some things, and they basically have infiltrated every part of upper society and have access to it.
I just like the fact that none of the Far Cries are connected.
Yeah,
that makes
fine
sense.
With that, yeah.
You were gonna say something, Shane?
I was just gonna say, I felt like Assassin's Creed killed off Desmond too early. Because I thought the whole sci-fi ramp was going to be, we're going to go modern times assassins.
Spoilers!
No one.
I'm kidding. I don't fucking care.
No one cares.
No one cares. It was in 3. That game was garbage. I've always said that game was garbage.
I just hated the fact that Desmond died, and then it's just like, I wanted Assassin's Creed New York. I wanted,
You wanted modern-day Assassin's Creed.
Everyone wants modern-day Assassin.
But you know what? That's what's happening, and I can accept that.
if you guys want modern day Assassin, just play a Batman Arkham game.
Yeah, play that.
Sure.
Like,
bottom line.
To be fair, Shane, I think the biggest thing about why a modern day Assassin's Creed game wouldn't work is because half the time, like, I mean, modern day, you're not dealing with melee weapons. You're dealing with firearms.
Yeah.
So, like, why do I need to, like, use a hidden blade if I could just take out a silent pistol, hang from, like, above, and pop a dude in the head? I get the same concept. They're dead.
That's when you find out the original Sam Fisher was the assassin.
Yeah, that's when you roll lump it together. Here's the other problem with a modern day Assassin's Creed game. How in the hell would you narratively explain the leap of faith if you're in the streets of New York or LA or Chicago and you see some asshole who's gonna jump, and there's gonna be some fucker going, jump, fucker, jump, because they want to see someone commit suicide, and then what do you land in?
A trash can.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You land in a dumpster or a trash can. But all I keep thinking is the scene from The Other Guys with The Rock and Samuel L. Jackson. They look at each other and they go, aim for the hedges, always. And they jump out, and there's no hedges. They just land and kill themselves on concrete.
Right.
That's what a modern day Assassin's Creed game is. If anything, they probably wanted Watch Dogs to be the modern day Assassin's Creed.
I could see that.
But that failed. I mean, at least the first one failed. I don't know how the second one did.
Second one's apparently leagues better, but, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
but,
from what I've seen, definitely.
But, you know, when your predecessor's dog shit, it's easy to not be dog shit.
I don't even know if Watch Dogs was dog shit. It just wasn't good. It failed on so many levels. And a lot of it had to do with, it took its own shit too seriously. It could have been
that's what I heard as well.
I like how you say it's not dog shit, but every word out of your mouth is, well, it's kind of dog shit.
Well, no, it's just it's not dog shit. It's just it failed. It just failed, like, unapologetically, and it's frustrating because its second iteration is actually, like, not bad from what I've seen, and I'm just baffled on why the second game wasn't just the first game. Like how did you go, let's make a serious game about this guy who's dealing with issues where he's not with his family and he's a hacker and blah blah garbage, sad story, I don't feel sympathy for this kind of character who's kind of a dick.
Yeah, that character was so wrong. He was too old. He was too much in his own world of being this broody little fuck. And it was also too much, like, I felt like in those games there's too much gunplay. It's like, you should be a sneaky hacker who's, like, fucking the world over. Like, have some guns, that's fine, but your tricks should basically be, you know, the tricks, you being the hacker that you are.
And that's why I think the second one has done better. It's because it's like, you have access to drones to do your dirty work for you. Sure, you know, you can 3D print a firearm for yourself when you need it.
Yeah.
You know, need be, rust situation, don't got a drone on you, gotta use what you got. But, like, the rest of the time you have access to just, like, technology to basically bail your ass out. Like, I like that.
And the other thing is, you are a young dude.
Yeah.
And you're enjoying this in a sick way that only you can enjoy it if you're kind of young and free and don't give a fuck.
I think they could have, like, you know, I think... I will agree that the age does have a hampering to the character. I think they could have done it with that character at that age. It's just they would have had to, like... They would have had to change a lot of things that probably would have benefited him and made him a more likable character.
Yeah.
And they just didn't. Alright, we'll give him family issues. Alright, we'll give him trying to do things to fuck over some company or government, or I don't even remember what the fuck it was for that one. My younger brother's playing it right now because it's free on Xbox.
See, the more I've never played it. The more you describe it, though, it just sounds like watered down Splinter Cell.
It is.
Yeah, maybe.
That's like what it sounds like. Angry guy, family problems, has guns, can kind of hack stuff.
Well, he can't.
It would have been better.
He can kind of hack stuff. He can. He has access to it.
Yeah, it would have been better if he was a hacker who was delusional in the sense that, like, he blames the government, the whole of the government, or something like that,
would have been acceptable if it was crazy.
For his family's death. So he's now an anarchist. Yeah. So you get points for literally wrecking like the streetlights and the bridges and all this other shit. That would have been better.
Yeah, but we didn't have a character who was crazy. Instead, we had a mild mannered dude with gruff angst.
Yeah, we're gruff angst. My family.
God,
that's all those characters.
They dropped the ball on it. But I mean, we can't. There's nothing we can do about it. We're not getting it. We got a second Watch Dogs, and clearly was just better.
Yeah. There's one more game I want to ask you before we have to wrap up, and we should wrap up because I am disgusting.
Fair.
What did you think of Metro Exodus?
Oh my!
I keep wanting to say Exodius.
Sure. So I've loved the Metro series. Metro 2043, fucking one of my favorite games. Last Light kind of bummed me out because it just I think the experience just wasn't as good.
Right.
There are definitely some like really cool segments, but nothing about the game felt overly unique. And they also kind of at the end of Metro 1, you're left with one of two options on how to end the game, and I guess to continue the story, they just go, nope, that one ending didn't happen, here's the ending that you're gonna go with. And I was like, well, that's not even the ending I liked. That's kind of annoying. Kind of bummed me out. So, like...
That's kind of bullshit.
That kind of, like, I guess set the tone for me a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I just didn't enjoy it nearly as much as 2033. Exodus, though, I like that we're doing something new. We're leaving the Metro. We're going outside without needing a gas mask on. You know, we're getting to explore a more colorful environment.
I want to see the system that this thing was running on because it looked too damn good to be true.
It may be that it was pre-rendered alpha.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking because those giant rats, the crack in the visor and all that shit, the gun, like everything, it looked beautiful and it looked like it would scare the shit out of me. But at the same time, I'm like, this looks way too good. Like, you gotta have like the beefiest PC to play this.
To be fair, though, there is a number of those like quality elements that were in like the first two. Like the crack on the visor looked to me, totally legit.
Well, I never played it, so that's why I'm
picking up the ammo off that body, that looked like a... Because in game there are some pre-rendered scenes of like your character interacting with stuff because it's something new for the first time. So you're checking it out. I will say some of the creatures did look a little more cleaned up than normal, but that could be that they've reworked those assets from the first couple of games. So we're getting kind of some nicer looking models. And again, there is also a strong possibility that's just pre-rendered, that they like, just kind of put it on rails to make it look like it was gameplay, but it looks pretty. But I am excited for it. Like I do love the Metro series. I think it's a very cool series, and it has like this great sci-fi element to it without it being too up its own ass. Like there are times where it's just like you're smoking some crack there, Exodus or Metro, but I mean, you got to tell an interesting story, and I think they chose kind of a cool thing, but still keep it within the confines of humans doing human things in an apocalyptic environment. I'm excited for it. I was stoked when I got to watch the Xbox press conference, and that was there. Like, just felt really excited about it. So yeah, I'm pretty happy. That's good for me. I liked that, and for others who like that, it's good for you too. We can enjoy this happy moment.
Until whenever the hell it comes out, because it's slated 2018, and that's anywhere between January till December.
Yep.
So
I will be happy when it comes out. I have plenty of other things to do prior to that point in my life. So yeah, when it comes out, I will definitely pick it up and play the fuck out of it.
Yeah. And the Steam sale is out. When people are listening to this on Friday, the Steam sale will have already started the day prior. It starts tomorrow for us on Thursday.
Alrighty then, time to look at your wallets and weep, kiddos.
I might get 1 or 2 games because of the new PC coming. Just buy them and save them.
I just got a paycheck.
Oh shit! Bye bye.
There's only one game I want to take a look at to see how much it is because it's getting a new DLC for it. So
what?
XCOM 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're surprisingly that game's getting something new.
Yeah.
So I definitely am stoked. I want to see how much of it is because I've enjoyed the XCOM series.
I'm probably looking at getting City Skylines depending on how much it is, and Dawn of War 3 depending on how much it is.
Nice.
And if it's not Dawn of War 3, then probably Gothic Armada.
Nice. Very good.
And that also, like, I'm buying that maybe on a whim. It also depends on what the new PC is going to have.
Sure.
So.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Guess we should be wrapping up now.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you for listening. Please like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe on iTunes. If you're on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. And hey, if you're on the Facebook, give us a share.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Give us a share, comment, do all that stuff there.
For show.
We got stuff coming. We don't know when. We don't know how. We don't know what it is. There's a lot of things we don't know. We'll get to it eventually.
Most stuff.
Okay. We're trying.
Yes, we are.
That's all we can do. Thanks for tagging along.
Yeah.
Later.
Later, y'all.
We out.
Later days.